Hi guys, thank you for joining us. My name's Maddie. I am the Director of Customer Success here at Cerkl, and I'm excited to share with you our second session of our Cerkl U webinar series. So today we are going to kind of start with a little recap. If you have any questions, please feel free to answer or ask them in the questions pane on your screen. We will be recording this, so don't worry if you feel like you're going to miss anything. We'll send you a link after. If you have any technical difficulties viewing or hearing the webinar today, please feel free to just give us a call with the number on your screen and we'll take care of you immediately. And lastly, please keep the conversation going at cerkl.com. We are really excited to share these new and upcoming features with you, and we'd love to hear your feedback. So don't forget to also take the survey at the end of the webinar. So on today's agenda, we're going to be going over the content expiration days feature. I know we had sent out a couple different notices about this feature, how it might impact the way you create content. Hopefully it's going to really help you maintain that control and be able to allow you to experience different things with content and in your audience being able to personalize that experience with your organization. I also want to go over updated Appsly. I know we have some awesome new ways that you can engage your audience on your actual website itself. The new look and feel is awesome, so I'd like to share that with you. Of course, our Facebook events and Eventbrite integration. That's one of our newer features over the past few months, and we're seeing some great progress with some of our partners already utilizing it. But I think it's something that you guys, moving forward, will be able to really hone in on and make your events moving forward really easy to integrate into Cerkl. Then we have our status page. I know we had discussed back in December that we would be sharing a new way to kind of keep up to date with how we our platform is running and the uptime. So I'll share that with you. And then the most exciting pieces of today's webinar, we're going to be previewing our content library and a preview of Insights 2.0. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to jump in and I will start with those expiration days features. So as you know, Cerkl is going to grab all the content that is most relevant to your audience based on the way that they have either personalized explicitly or how we are reading their implicit interests. So for this feature, this kind of changes the way in which we are going to gather the content based on specific reasons that your content might want to live. So you're going to ask yourself, which statement best describes your organizational content? Number one, most of the content is valid after 6 weeks. If so, we're going to show you how you can go ahead and set that expiration days to a longer period of time. So we're going to go ahead now and show you, if you go to your drop-down menu, head to settings. Once you are in your settings, you will go to automated email and then other settings. If you scroll down, you will see the content expiration days. So this is going to be the organization-wide content expiration days. So we are going to say any piece of content that we do not override in a different scenario, i.e. a different or specific article or post or a specific content source, every piece of content will live for 42 days and that it will be available for your audience for up to 42 days. Now, of course, you can go ahead and change this. So as I mentioned before, if content is valid for over 6 weeks, you can change this to any length of time. So let's say, 365 days. If you're creating content on a yearly schedule, you might take a look at changing this feature. Now, if you say that most of your content is only valid for fewer than 6 weeks, let's say you are a media company that is producing news on a daily or weekly basis, you might want to change this feature. You might want to set this to, let's say, 5 or 10 days, meaning that all the pieces of content are only available from the time they are published up until that day. So up until that content expiration days number. So if you're a news or media company, you might look at saying, hey, I only want this to live for 5 days. Now, you might also say, hey, most of our content is always valid. So you are going to say, I don't want to have any of my content ever expire. So again, this is at the organizational wide level. We'll dive into how you can hone in on individual pieces of content or content sources. But overall, this is how you're going to set that content expiration days feature for your organization. So the last way or the last statement that you might say is relevant to your organization is that we have a mix. We have a mix of content. Some of it is, some of it is evergreen, some of it should live forever, and some of it should expire quickly. So how do we do that? So if you are saying that most of your content or a good majority of your content doesn't ever expire, but there are certain circumstances that it will expire, then you might want to set this content expiration days feature to never expire. And then you're going to utilize the ways in which you can set individual pieces of content and content sources with a separate expiration day. So we'll hop in there. So if we go up to general, you will see under content sources. So we have a couple different content sources that we're pulling, articles from the Cerkl blog or the Cerkl YouTube channel. Let's say that I only want our YouTube videos to be available to be delivered in a newsletter for up to, let's say, 30 days, meaning, not 31, 30. There we go. Meaning all the content pulled in from our YouTube channel will only be available in newsletters for up to 30 days after they're published. So this is a way that you can, again, maintain that control over your content. This is a great feature for universities or colleges. So if you are an alumni association and you have your athletics feed pulling in, they typically create a lot of content. If you think about it, they have games, multiple times a week. So you can set that content feed for your athletics page to, let's say, a week. So then you're not getting content about, the school's hockey team winning their, the Frozen Four when it's in the middle of summer. So again, being able to maintain that control for you, this feature is going to allow you to do so. Then you can also moderate your content by individual content source, or I'm sorry, by individual piece of content. So if we head to your drop-down menu, add content, and you select post or story, you will see if we scroll down, you still have this same feature that you're used to, this publish dates. You can say, hey, I want this to start on January 30th, and I want this to never expire. Or you can say, hey, I do want this to expire. This is only valid or relatable to my audience until, let's say, February 28th. So again, you have the ability to maintain that control from multiple different vantage points with your content itself. Now, little pro tip here. This is something that a lot of our partners have asked for. How do we promote our Cerkl throughout the entire life cycle? So if we have someone, of course, once we launch, we have our initial subscribers, they get that welcome email. But what if we want to send a specific message to our new subscribers that might add or might be joining us from the subscriber plugin on our website? This is going to be a great way to make sure that a piece of content will live in any first newsletter that is sent to any new audience members. So you can, go ahead and write your welcome to our personalized newsletter. Go ahead and write your story or your article explaining to them that they can go ahead and personalize through the onboarding or welcome email or whatever you'd like. Maybe it's a message from your president or your CEO. Then from there, again, you can just say, hey, this content never expires. What you also will want to make sure is you set the priority to required. This will ensure that this piece of content is required to be delivered in every newsletter moving forward, or in every first newsletter moving forward. So it's a great way, again, to make sure that you are kind of setting the groundwork for how this personalized newsletter will be working for your audience moving forward. And again, allows you to personalize the content you are sending in that first newsletter. So hopefully that was able to kind of give you guys a quick overview of the content expiration days feature. Again, more than happy to answer any questions you guys have on that specific feature during our questions portion. But now I want to go ahead and hop into our updated Apply. As you know, we have the ability to personalize digital newsletters being delivered for all your subscribers. But with our Apply feature, which is our website personalization, you now have the ability to enhance that personalized experience, not only in that digital newsletter, but now on your web space. So we've had this feature for quite a while, but we've had some awesome design updates to it. And I want to make sure that everyone of our partners has been able to see that. So if you head to your drop-down menu, you go to Settings. Once you're in your settings, you will see in the left menu bar, you will see Apply. Once you head there, you will have the ability to design this feature as you see fit. So you will always see a little preview here in the bottom right corner. But let's say you want it to live at the bottom of your page. You can change the preview of the layout. So here we go. You can see it's down here. You can choose what sections appear in Apply. So let's say what's trending, the latest, recently viewed. So you can see all of those are on for this preview here. So just for Maddie, what's trending, latest, you can change these and say, hey, I don't want to show recently viewed. You have the ability to change the background color, the section titles, and the headlines. Once you do that, you easily click the Get Code button and pass this off to your webmaster, your IT person, or if you have access to the back end of your site, you can easily drop this code directly into the back end, and it will appear on your site wherever you decide for this to live. So again, it's a great way to increase the personalized experience. So people always ask, why do people sit on YouTube watching hours and hours of cat videos? Well, it's because they have that little sidebar that's constantly prompting them with other articles that they are going to be interested in. So it's constantly keeping their attention. This is also great to help increase the time that people are on your website. So I know a lot of our partners are tracking that metric. This is going to help increase that significantly. All right. So now we'll hop into Facebook and Eventbrite integration. I know, again, this is something that we've had for a little while, but I hop on calls with all of our partners on a weekly basis, and it's inevitable that someone will say, hey, I didn't know that was a feature. So if you go to your drop-down menu, head to Settings. Once under Settings, you will head to your Integrations, and you will see a few different options here. You have Eventbrite. So if you do have an Eventbrite account, that you are posting, any, let's say, webinars or workshops or trade shows, anything that you have on that Eventbrite account, you can easily pull that into Cerkl to make it a lot less time consuming for you to have to copy and paste and make sure your events are in Cerkl after they're already in Eventbrite. So don't forget to set this up if you guys are using Eventbrite. And same with our Facebook events. It's very easy to do. You're just going to grab the URL for your Facebook profile, drop it in here, and just go ahead and click Add. Then all of your Facebook events will be pulled directly through to the queue, and you can approve them as you see fit. All right. So now moving to our status page. As I had mentioned back in December, we promised that we were going to enhance the way that we communicate with all of our partners in regards to our site's uptime. So we have implemented the new Cerkl status page, and this will be available in a few weeks for everyone to subscribe to, but you will always have access to this. You will see that all, At this current moment, all systems are operational. You can see every individual piece of our site too. So the public site, the administrative site, the newsletters themselves, insights, API, and also our third-party services. So you always have a good picture of how our platform is running. You can also see past incidents. And the best part is that you can subscribe yourself to updates. So you can choose, I want to get an email, a phone call, a text, or you can subscribe to the RSS feed. So I'll just quickly add myself here. And then there will be an email sent to verify that I would like to receive those updates on any incidents within the Cerkl platform. So again, it's really, really important to us that we are transparent with all of our partners and making sure that we have the most up-to-date and immediate response to anything that might be happening within the platform. So we appreciate all of our partners being patient with us as we had been working with our team to get this up and running, but this is going to become available for you guys in the next few weeks. So be on the lookout for that as well. All right, so now to hop into the most exciting things of the day, we are going to show you some of our new features. So we've been long discussing the Insights 2.0 feature updates. But before we hop into that, I'd love to show you a preview of our content library. So this is something our team has been working on, and it's going to enhance the way that you are able to interact with the platform and to help you track how your content is being delivered. So we'll start here. Again, this is just a mock-up. Our team is still working on the implementation of this. But just to keep you guys in the loop of what we have coming, you can see here that now the content library, this will be a place where all the content will live. You'll easily be able to see what has been approved, what's in your queue, what are in draft mode, what has been rejected, even a calendar. So you can see you have an easy navigate page system where you can see where all your content lives and track it no matter the stage it's at. You also have the ability to see all of your approved content. So everything that's been made available to your audience. You can sort by the title, published date, content source, and even views. Next, you can see that we have available reporting. So at the top, you can say, hey, I want to take a bulk action. I would like to delete or expire a certain piece or certain list of content or edit it. You can even see all of your top stories. So if there was a top story that wasn't supposed to be a top story, you'll be able to go ahead and make those edits directly in the content library without having to go back to your content archive page, find that article, click the little circle in the top right corner, edit it, all those things. We're trying to make this as simple as possible and as seamless as possible so you guys have the best experience, saving your team time and while you're able to provide that exponential value for your subscribers. Next, you can see, again, that bulk action feature where you can select multiple pieces of content and say, hey, I want to edit this. I want to make these pieces of content expire. I want to delete them. And you have those additional filters. So you can find your content based on unique attributes. You'll be able to filter based on published date, expiration, by topic, by author, by source, and a few other things as well. Again, allowing you to find a very clear picture of the content that you are providing your audience. Again, same filtering options and functionality that you still have in the queue today. So this is not going to replace the queue. The queue is going to be a part of this. So all of the external content sources that you are pulling content from, that content will be funneled in this content library where you can easily approve, delete, edit, and make any revisions to the content before it goes live. And lastly, we're really excited about this one. I know some of our library partners, Gail Borden, I don't know if you're on right now, I can't see the list yet, but I know this is something that we are really excited to share with you guys. And it came from your team's need to understand what your content calendar looked like. So we will be adding this so you can constantly take a look at when your content was published, when it became available, when is it scheduled to be published. So there's no more guessing there. It's not, hey, how much content did we post last week? Did we post enough last month? You will always have a clear picture of where your content is and how it's performing. All right. So now that we've kind of glossed over the preview of the content library, I'm going to take a dive into Insights 2.0. I know this is something that our partners have been really excited to see. It's been something our entire team has been working on for the past few months, and we are excited to launch this officially on the week of Valentine's Day. So the week of February 14th is when this will be publicly available for all of our partners. Just a little heads up, we will be having our third Cerkl U webinar, all focused around Insights 2.0, so your introduction to Insights 2.0. We will have one of our senior engineers joining us on that webinar as well to take us through the functionality and answer any questions you might have. So be on the lookout for that invite. Make sure you don't miss that. So that next webinar is on February 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so let's hop in. So as you can see, just a quick preview here of Insights 2.0, you can already see the design, the look, and the feel is drastically different than what you guys are used to today. It looks beautiful. We're really excited. Our team, again, has been working really hard to get this in a great spot and available for all of our awesome partners. So I'll just quickly take you through some of the features and the new ways in which you can personalize your own data and analytics with our Insights 2.0. Here you can see that you have the same functionality with Insights 1. So you have your content, your categories, your audience, your campaigns. You can still see all of that reporting, but now it's just enhanced. You can sort by engagement score with your content. You can say, hey, I want to see what was the published start date. I want to sort by published start date from high to low over the past all time. We'll go ahead and sort that, and you will see the content that will appear here. So again, much better and much more in-depth filtering options. You will see that here in categories, you can even see the audience reach, the percent of your audience. If we click through to some of these categories, you'll be able to see the content that this category has been attached to. So if you're asking yourself, hey, how many pieces of content have we approved having to do with community engagement? Now you can see all of this. Then you can sort again by, let's say, published end date, delivers, opens, clicks. So you have a lot more freedom here to generate reports and analytics that are meaningful to your organization. We head over to the little filtering option. Each one of these different components has the ability to either filter further or you can export. So I know this is something that Insights 1 does not have available as of today, but we're excited to announce that with Insights 2.0, you do have the option to export to CSV. So we'll easily click this button. I'm going to make a name for this. So I'm going to say most popular categories and the date. Go ahead and click OK. Now we will hold all of those exports for you. So we'll go to exports and you'll see that this is pending. And I will also receive an email once that export is ready for me to download. So now you can easily share reports and data and analytics with your team to help you guys make the best choices when it comes to the content and the engagement of your audience. So just hopping into a few other things that we have available. I know we always hear, hey, when did, let's say, Joe receive, when did he receive his last newsletter? Today, we would have to pull that content for you on the back end, but with Insights 2.0, you can easily see really great analytics directly from your Insights pane. So you can say, hey, when did Joe receive his last newsletter? We can see that he receives it weekly on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. You can see the date that he personalized, if he's included in any segments, and you can see his top 5 interests. So now let's say, again, if you're an alumni association, your development team is really going to love this. Now they know what each individual alumni or donor is interested in before they hop on that initial call. Again, you can go ahead and export any of these components. And the last thing that we'll go ahead and preview today with Insights 2.0, and I think you guys will be really excited about this, is you are now able to create custom dashboards. So we keep talking about this personalized experience for your subscribers. Cerkl provides that content to the right person at the right time based on their interests. But what we were kind of missing with Insights, one, is that we weren't really able to personalize that experience for you, our partners. So we have created the ability to come up with custom dashboards and create an entire reporting metric around things that matter to you or your team specifically. A lot of our organizations or partners have different departments. So let's say marketing, and then you might have your alumni relations, and you have development, or all these different departments work together, but they have very different reporting metrics and things that they are looking to help increase their productivity. So with custom dashboards, let's say marketing, we can design an entire reporting page just for either you or for a different department. So you'll easily be able to click through, add specific components. So if we want to take a look at, let's say, delivery metrics, because this is important for our marketing team, newsletter deliveries. You can see when these newsletters were actually delivered. So you can see that 264 newsletters were delivered on January 9th. So all of these different components will allow you to personalize, and you can save each of these components to make sure that it's your first dashboard when you log in. So what is most important to you? What are you, constantly going to your boss and saying, hey, these are the reporting metrics that we need, and this is the data to back up the reason why I think we need to be posting more content around community engagement. Now you have the ability to set up the dashboard in a way that will increase your communication with your team. So providing you and your team exponential value. Again, you have the ability to share this. So let's say, hey, I want to make this public to all administrators, or if you want to leave it private and just leave it for yourself. And then the best part is when you go ahead and favorite it, this will now be my dashboard once I log into Insights 2.0 every single time. So we have some really exciting things coming your way. I know that we have been kind of talking up Insights 2.0 for a little while now, and we are super excited to allow this to go live to all of our partners the week of February 14th. So definitely be on the lookout for that. We cannot wait to get this in your hands. Keep in mind with Insights 2.0, this is something that we are constantly going to be revising and reiterating. So what you guys will see on the week of February 14th won't be the end all be all. We will always and forever will be open to suggestions. So if there's a reporting filter that you wish we had that we don't yet, send it our way. We love hearing from you. Your feedback is truly valuable to us. So we want to make sure that we're listening to our partners and we're building this for you. So what would make you, you and your team, how do we provide value? How do we save you time and make sure that we are giving you the best experience possible? So be on the lookout for an invite to our February 14th webinar, where we will be diving into the introduction of Insights 2.0. I would like to, at this time, open it up for questions. go ahead and ask any questions you might have about today's webinar, any of the features we went over, or any new and upcoming releases within the next few weeks. I'd love to, let's see, I think we have a few coming in already. All right, I'll give it a couple more seconds, and don't worry, these questions are private, so only I can read them. So there is no, stupid or silly question. That's what this is about, is us opening up to allow you to ask questions about functionality, anything that we have coming up in the pipeline, to provide you guys with all the answers to the test there. Okay, I have our first one. It says, if we want to update Apply or our subscriber plugin, what do we need to do? So if you guys already have your, the older version of the subscriber plugin or Apply on your website, you will want to go ahead and delete that code from the back end of your site. Once you do that, go into Cerkl under, if we head back, I can take you there. Go to your drop-down menu, Settings. Under Settings, you will go to either Apply, if you're looking to update your Apply on your website. And we'll just start there since that's an easier one. Here we go. You will design this as you see fit. And then again, hit Get Code. Just make sure you delete the old code first and then place this new code in place of that older code. And then that will update for you. So great question. And the same thing with the subscriber plugin. You'll have to delete that old code and replace it with the new updated code once you design it. All right, we have another question. Does content expiration days start when content is pulled into the queue? It's a great question. So the content expiration days starts when the piece of content is published, when it is available to your audience. So let's say you have your content expiration days at the organizational level set to 42 days. That 42-day countdown will begin once it's available and it lives on the content archive page. So keep in mind, when you're pulling things into the queue, it doesn't start until it is available. So it's going to go off that published start date. Great question. And I think we have one more question. All right. So when will that status page be available? So as I mentioned before, the status page will be available within the next few weeks, but we also, if there's anyone who's interested in us updating them or subscribing them to this page by the end of this week, feel free to send me a note. I am more than happy to go ahead and subscribe you. Just let me know if you'd like it to go to your email. So we're still attaching this to our site, so that's why it's not publicly available, but I can go ahead and update anyone and make sure that you guys are subscribed to our status page if you would like. We have another great question. All right, so where can I send feedback for Insights 2.0? I love that. So with our Insights 2.0, what we'll go ahead and do is once it's available to the public, we will have a forum where you guys will be able to place your feedback, ask questions. Of course, using our chat bot in the bottom right-hand corner of every Cerkl.com page is a great way to contact us. That is the fastest response rate is what we're seeing with our chat bot. So feel free to send it there, but we also will have a place where you can gather your content and send that to us as well. So I appreciate that. All right. Having quite a few other questions actually. So let's dive in here. Is there a timeline for approving declining content in mass instead of going one by one? Okay, so is there a timeline for approving? Okay, so I think you are referring to the content library where you'll be able to have those bulk actions. So with the content library, we don't have a set launch date for that updated feature, but we are hoping to have that out within the next few months. So I will definitely keep you guys in the loop there with the production of that feature and the ability to bulk or mass upload or decline content. So thank you for that question. I appreciate it. Let's see, a couple more. How do you edit the email subject line for newsletters? Ours pops up as this issue XYZ and 6 other stories. Great question. So there are a few ways, and I know the person who sent this, I can go ahead and send you a link to our help desk article that explains in depth how we are generating those subject lines. I think that might be helpful too, but just a quick overview. We are going to automatically set those subject lines based on the interests used using explicit and implicit interest of your subscribers. So we will have it say this issue X, Y, and Z, and we're using the topics or categories that newsletter has available for that subscriber because we know that is of interest to them specifically. Now, we do have a way to override the default subject line for anyone who has not yet personalized. So to do that, if you go to your drop-down menu, Settings, Automated Email, head to Other Settings, you will see the default subject line. So again, if you'd like to override the subject line for anyone who has not yet personalized, that is where you'd be able to do that. So great question, and I will go ahead and send over that follow-up email to you specifically with the help desk article that explains the steps we take to come up with those subject lines. All right, let's see. All right, I have a couple more here. Is it effective to set the required story for existing users? That's a great question. So that is completely up to you and your team. For our best practices purposes, I would say focusing the content around the message from your organization would be the best way to do it if you have already launched and your subscribers have been receiving content for quite a while. Or if there is a piece of content that you had created during launch that you would like to make sure still lives in newsletters for any new subscribers, you can just go back through, find that article, find that post, and set that specific post to never expire and set it as required. So if someone in your list has already seen that, then they will not see it again. So great question there. All right. I have one more question, and any questions that I did not get to today, we have a list of them. I will make sure that we ping you offline. All right, so what is the difference between top story or required and pinned? Great question. So with our priority settings within Cerkl, you will see that you have top story, required, and pinned. So scrolling down here, all right, privacy and priority. You see that here with priority, every piece of content is automatically set to normal, meaning it is going to be delivered to the right person at the right time based on our algorithm. Now, every once in a while, there is a piece of content that you have to override everyone's preferences and say, hey, this has to go out in a newsletter to our subscribers. So you might think about using either the required or top story or top priority here. So required, this post is guaranteed to appear in a user's newsletter. Now, with required, it's not necessarily stating where it will live in the newsletter, but it will be in a newsletter sent to your subscribers. And once they have received it and engaged with that piece of content, it will no longer show up in their newsletter moving forward. And then we have top story here, which top story is guaranteed to appear in the top of a user's newsletter. So it'll be the first thing that they see. Now, if we want to kind of have the, so to speak, double whammy, we can set a top story and pin it. So the pinning feature is basically saying, hey, I want this to live in every newsletter from this set date to this set date. So this feature is typically used for a campaign. So if you're running a week-long campaign, let's say for our nonprofit partners, the week of Giving Tuesday, that might be something you want to make sure, hey, this goes out to every newsletter delivered from I know this isn't Giving Tuesday, but let's say January 1st to, or I'm sorry, I want this to be available in every newsletter until February 9th. So that's going to be the double whammy. So now you have it as a top story. It's going to be the first thing everyone sees, and you're pinning it to make sure that it goes out into every single newsletter. So great question there. Okay, let's see. All right, one more, and then I will be sure to ping any unanswered questions offline. So I've noticed that when I edit a Cerkl post and has been pulled from Facebook, it sometimes ends up back into my queue after it's been published. Are there going to be any updates, or is there a reason for why this is happening? So yeah, and I think we had discussed a little bit of this offline, but with this, if you are making any updates to a Facebook event and it's being pulled through to Cerkl, and then you publish it, it's available, it's on your content archive, and then you go back to your Facebook events and again make any edits there, it will re-pull that piece of content into your queue to publish. So if you're making any edits, or if your team's making any edits, I would make sure that we are able to just communicate that. Or once you edit it on the Facebook events, you make sure you hop right directly into Cerkl and approve that from your queue again. So great question. And again, I will ping you offline with that specifically to make sure that we have answered all your questions there. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for your time today. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to hop in with you on February 14th for our Introduction to Cerkl Insights 2.0. Also, don't forget that we will be starting our first session of our Cerkl Forum conversations through Facebook Live. So if you haven't joined our Facebook Forum group, be sure to do so. I will make sure we send out a link to that in our follow-up email from today's webinar as well, so you can be joined as a member. That forum is a place where all of our partners can come together, discuss best practices, what's working for them, what do they use specific features for, and be able to ask questions too. So, how are you guys using Facebook to increase your Cerkl engagement? Things like that. We really want to bring the Cerkl community together and be able to open it up to share those best practices and kind of create the inner circle, so to speak. So be sure to join our customer success team on the 2nd at 10 a.m. Eastern time for our first Facebook Live conversation, where we will be able to answer live questions you have and be able to share those best practices. Again, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. And you guys have a great day. We'll see you on February 14th.